It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you, and welcome to the Science Bowl, the science quiz program here in the Prince George's County Public Schools. Play along with us today and test your own science IQ. Let's meet today's teams. First, from James Harrison Elementary School, say hello to Ebenezer Oduro, Armand Lucas, and Mambo Disong. And from Robert Goddard Montessori, here they are, Brianna Wynn, Michael Lynch, and Aforbeke and Wike. And now here are the categories of questions we use on the Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing, and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
Here on the Science Bowl, we arrange our game board according to question difficulty. The easier questions on the left are worth 5 and 10 points. The tougher ones worth 15, 20, and ultimately 25, the toughest question of them all. Both of our teams start out at 50 points. No penalties ever for incorrect answers. Enter the 2 rounds today. One of these 2 good-looking teams will come back to play our game again and perhaps advance to this year's quarterfinals in the elementary competition. Let's go over and make sure everything works properly before we start. James Harrison, Armand, would you try your buzzer, please? Thank you, young man. Good luck to you, to Mambo, and to Ebenezer. And Michael, would you try the green team's buzzer? Looks and sounds good. Good luck to you, to Brianna, and for BK. Let's have a good game, all right? 50 all. Let's add some points here. We go alphabetically, J before R. So, Armand, start us out.
How about Zoo Parade for 10?
Zoo Parade for 10 points. Teams, people in artificial intelligence are doing research on developing a bionic eye, and they are using this insect with a huge eye that flies around like a helicopter. James Harrison, can you name that insect?
I'd like to pass it on to Mambo.
Mambo.
A firefly, sorry.
A what?
A dragonfly.
A dragonfly, yes ma'am. Boy, you pulled that one out at the last second. Nice answer. Go again, Red.
Science Potpourri for 5.
Potpourri for 5 points. Teams, believe it or not, a few years ago, our government said that if you eat 2 tablespoons of this tomato-y condiment, you have eaten a vegetable. You have eaten a vegetable, Robert Goddard.
Ketchup?
Yeah, ketchup. I just had my vegetables. I don't know about that. Go green.
Let's get physical.
Let's
for
turn
10.
that light out first. Green now.
Let's get physical for 10.
Get physical for 10 points. Teams, this is a multiple choice question. I'm going to give you 3 choices. Listen carefully. If you have a jar lid that you just can't get off, and you decide to use the percussive method to dislodge it, would you hold it under hot water, hold it under cold water, or hit it with a knife? The percussive method would let you do what, Armand?
Hit it with a knife?
Hit it with a knife, yeah, a couple times along the lid, and that will probably loosen it. Good answer. Go Red.
Green things for 5.
Green things for 5 points. Teams, I don't know that squirrels like pancakes, but we now know that they will eat into the xylem of a tree and wait for the sap to come out that turns into what? That they will come back and eat, Robert Goddard.
Syrup?
Yeah, maple syrup. Who knew that squirrels liked Aunt Jemima? Who knew? Okay, go green.
Dateline Science for 10.
Dateline for 10 points. Teams, your question is as follows. Women in particular are confused about the latest news from the government that if they take this mineral chemical element as a supplement with the chemical symbol Ca, it may not help their bones after all. Robert Goddard?
Calcium?
Yeah, calcium. Good teamwork over there. Good. Go. Green.
Body systems for 5 points.
Body systems for 5 points. Right now we have a tie score, 70 all. This is body systems for 5 points. Listen carefully. If you go to Nats Park to watch the baseball team and you have seats way away from home plate, way up at the top, you might not have hemorrhaging in your nostrils, but they still call those seats what kind of seats, Goddard?
The nosebleed?
Yeah, you're in the nosebleed section because you're up so high. Good answer. All right, go.
Science potpourri for 10.
Potpourri for 10 points. Teams, scientists now think that 3/4 of all the species on Earth disappeared and all the dinosaurs when a meteor, an asteroid, hit Mexico and when thousands of these erupted in India. Robert Goddard.
Volcanoes?
Volcanoes. That key word there was erupted. As soon as you heard that, bingo, hit that buzzer. All right? Work together. Talk to each other. All right, Goddard, please.
Green things for 10 points.
Green things for 10 points. Teams, in the new movie, The Martian, an astronaut is stranded on Mars and he grows these tuberous vegetables that famously have eyes on their stems. Robert Goddard.
Potatoes?
You got that right. The eyes of the potato. And we know that that is an underground stem. It's not a root, and that kept him alive for a long time. You know, he used his own waste as fertilizer, and he grew the potatoes in the Martian soil. All right, 95 to 70 advantage green. Michael, you choose.
Body systems for 10 points.
Body systems for 10 points. It is a multiple choice question. Teams, if you have a bad cut and it gets infected and there's pus in there, that pus is really a collection of red blood cells, white blood cells, or platelets. Armand?
We're gonna go with white blood cells.
That is absolutely right. The leukocytes, those are the cells that fight off infection. So those are the soldiers that have lost the battle to help you win the war. All right, good answer. Red.
Zupre for 5.
Zuprade, 5 points. Team's question is as follows. What late New York Yankees catcher name was used for a cartoon character who famously said before noon, "I will eat every picnic basket in Jellystone Park"? Who was that cartoon character, Harrison?
Ranger Smith?
Yogi Bear.
Yogi Bear, absolutely right. Named after Yogi Berra, the New York Yankees catcher. Good teamwork there. 85-95. Nice game going. Red again.
Let's get physical for 5.
Let's get physical for 5 points. Teams, the Leaning Tower of Pisa has been defying this force for the last 800 years. Robert Goddard?
Gravity?
Yeah, gravity wants to pull it down, but the Pisa Tower says, not quite yet. All right, the buzzer says the first round is over. We've had a good one. Our score at this juncture is Robert Goddard, 100. James Harrison, 85. We'll be back with the second half in just a second. Don't you go away.
I started mentoring my mentee, Dantre, 4 years ago. I always thought about doing it. It always seemed like a good idea.
We were both nervous when we first met, but everything kind of fell into place.
Mentoring is important to anyone that's pretty fortunate in life to have a little bit of time to pass on that knowledge.
Etienne's a very close friend. I look at him as a brother and a father figure. He taught me just focus on the big picture because I would like to give back just like Etienne gave back to me. Be someone who matters to someone who matters.
If you're like most families, you probably have video game fans in your home. But not every game is right for every kid, which is where the ESRB ratings come in. They help parents make informed decisions for their kids. And there's an easy-to-use mobile app that gives you detailed info on specific game ratings. Video game consoles have parental controls that you can set to block certain games by age rating, so they get all the fun, and you get peace of mind.
And welcome back to Science Bowl. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. 6 outstanding young people here today, all elementary students, all but one are brand new to the program here today, and they are doing a wonderful job. Very competitive match. Let's find out a little bit more about the teams before we ask any more science questions. Let's go to James Harrison in elementary school up there in Laurel, Maryland, on Larchdale Road, and tell us who your principal is, Armand.
Dr. Williams.
Wonderful. Out there rooting for you. And the sponsor of your team?
Miss Colburn.
And she's here. She's been taking pictures before. I know she's proud of you guys. You had an alternate on your team, did you not?
We have 2. We
Who are
have
they?
Ishmael, Esteva,
Yes.
and Cherish Daughtery, but sadly she's not here today.
unfortunately. So, but Ms. Coburn will be out with Ishmael in just a few moments. Thank you. Tell me about James Harrison. What is one of the best things about that school? When you talk to people about your school, what do you brag about?
Academic rewards. So if you get honor roll, you can have an ice cream party or a pizza party or stuff like that. If you get principal's honor roll, you can have that, or you can get a reward like a trophy or something like that.
Yeah, we need incentives in life, don't we? You know, and that is a really important way to do that, and kind of reinforces that you're doing the great work that you're doing over there. Thanks for sharing that, Armand. I know you want to be a lawyer someday, right? Mm-hmm. You go to Harvard, you were telling me. How'd you get interested in the law?
It started when my mom started working at the Washington Post in the legal department. So I went there one day and I was in an intern room and there were a bunch of books about the laws of the United States or whatever. So I opened it and I started reading it and I got really fascinated and interested with it.
That's a great explanation. I like that story too, and that's why you have to have as many experiences as a kid as you can, because you never know what's going to really lock into what you're interested in and where your talents lie. Playing a nice game. Keep it up. Mambo, nice to have you here. Young lady, you want to be a doctor someday. You've come up with some great answers. How do you know so much about science?
I know so much about science. I had to say by Miss Coburn, of course, because she's been helping us practice a little by going into the computer lab and looking up old videos of the science world. And I had to say by my third grade teacher, Miss Jackson, who was in control of the science department at our school, but she's not here this year. So.
Wow, what a nice tribute to those two teachers. That's beautifully said. And you're a very poised young lady over there, and you're a dancer, aren't you? I can see you being a dancer over there. You're playing a real nice game. Ebenezer, nice to have you here. You play on a football team up in Laurel. What's the name of the team?
Laurel Wildcats.
Yeah, how long you been with them?
1 year.
1 year. And what position you play?
Offensive guard.
That's wonderful. Do you see yourself as a pro player someday, or do you have other plans?
I really don't know yet.
Yeah, we were
There's
talking
still
about
much
that.
to explore.
There is, you know, and your life's going to take so many twists and turns as you go along the way, and you're going to end up just fine because you've got a good work ethic and you've got a good balance in your life over there. Keep up your good work here. Robert Goddard, nice to have you here, the Robert Goddard Montessori School, and you're located over there in the Lanham area. And who's your principal, Mike?
Miss Dimmy.
Stimmy, yes, and I know she really is behind your team here today. And Miss Jellison, I know, is your sponsor, and she has been a judge here before and was so determined to get you guys on this show, and we're glad that we had an opening for you this year. And you've got more than a couple alternates. Can you give me their first names?
Layla, Snowden, Jordan, and Sadie. And we have 6 who didn't come. Quinn, Alanis, Ginger, Chidera, and Lita.
But that's pretty impressive. You remembered all those names. Yeah. And what was the last one?
Jared.
Jared. All right. And they were all out there listening for their names. They're the shadow teams. And we'll bring as many out as we can at the end here. Brag about Robert Goddard Montessori. Best thing about the school?
The teachers, they make it fun to learn, and they don't leave you behind if you don't know. Even if everyone else knows, you're still important to them.
Boy, that's a very important thing, isn't it? Because, you know, not everybody learns at the same pace, and because if you get left behind, you never catch up. Yeah, that's just great. What do you want to do someday, Mike?
I want to be a physicist.
Yeah, you were telling me about that. And what do you do in your spare time?
I like to play piano and percussion, and I also like just looking up facts about science.
Yeah, and it's like the internet. You can never exhaust it. There's always more to learn out there. You're a good captain. And for BK, tell us about yourself. What do you do in your spare time?
I play my saxophone, play sports, watch TV, and play video games.
Yeah. Is there an orchestra over there where you
I'm
play
in
the
the
sax?
band.
In the band. Wow, that's cool. Do you have your own sax? You do. And boy, you're a triple threat. You're a scholar, you're a musician, and you're an athlete. What kind of sports you play?
Basketball and football.
That's wonderful. And someday, what are you going to do?
Be an astronomist, a paleontologist, a doctor, a dentist, an astronaut, or a cook.
Yeah, it's just a shame he doesn't have any idea what he wants to do when he grows up over there. And I asked him what he likes to cook earlier, and he said, breakfast, Mr. Z. Come on over for breakfast. I'll do you good. Brianna, nice to have you here with us today. This young lady, she is into pi digits, 3.14. She's into the periodic table and governors and state capitals and presidents. That has served you well. I bet you're just a great student. Why'd you want to be on the show here?
Because I wanted to show everybody how smart I am.
Yeah.
Yes.
And absolutely, there's no reason to be humble because, you know, you've done all this work and that's part of this show to kind of showcase talent like yours. What do you want to do someday professionally?
I want to be a chemist.
A chemist, yes. We got a chemist and a physicist, and then a whole long list over there at the end there. All right, you guys are playing a nice game. Let's get back to it. 100 for Goddard, 85 for Harrison. You guys ready to do it again? Let's have a good second round here. Last correct answer came from the green team, so Mike, start us out. All of the tougher questions remain.
Let's get physical for 15.
Get physical for 15 points. Teams, there is a town in South Dakota that is named for this chemical element that we know can cause brain damage, which is why we've taken it out of paint and gasoline.
Lead.
James Harrison.
You want to know what lead?
Lead, that's exactly right. Yes, Lead, South Dakota is the name of the town. Red, please. Tie score 100 all.
We're going to go with green things for 15.
Green things for 15 points. Teams, strange but true, you can now trace the origin of the fibers from this plant that go into making your blue jeans. James Harrison.
Cotton?
Yeah, the cotton plant, the very cotton plant where the fibers came from that are in the jeans you've got on your behind right now. You can now trace that. That's pretty amazing. Read again.
Dateline science for 5.
Dateline for 5 points. Teams, General Mills recently discovered that there was some gluten in a cereal that was supposed to have none. So they've recalled this cereal that we know as little tiny life preservers.
Cheerios.
James Harrison.
Cheerios?
Yeah, the Cheerios. They called all the Cheerios back in because it wasn't as gluten-free as they had advertised, which is serious if you've got a gluten allergy. All right, you're on a roll. Go, Harrison.
Zuprate for 15.
Zuprate, 15 points, multiple choice question. Team, some animals have a nictitating membrane, which is a third eyelid. Snakes do, some salamanders, even woodpeckers do. And because this third eyelid lets some light through, is it transparent, translucent, or opaque? Robert Goddard.
Translucent?
Yes, sir. It lets a little bit of light through. Translucent it is. Go green.
Dateline science for 15.
Dateline science for 15 points is another multiple choice question. Some of you know that the Nobel Prizes were awarded recently. The one for medicine went to 3 doctors who came up with medicines to help cure malaria and elephantiasis and river blindness, all caused by bacteria, viruses, or parasites. All 3 of those diseases caused by which of those agents? James Harrison.
Bacteria?
No, not bacteria. Robert Goddard. Bacteria, viruses, or parasites. The causes of malaria, river blindness, and elephantiasis.
Parasites?
Yes, parasites. Absolutely right. Good comeback. Points to green.
Science potpourri for 15.
Potpourri for 15 points. Teams, your question is as follows. The government just the other day said we now have to register our quadricopters, those little things we fly around without pilots that are better known as these, Harrison.
Drones?
Yeah, we had to register our drones now because people are out there in the national airspace just doing whatever they want. That can't go on. 130 all, tie. No, 135, 130, go red.
Body systems for 15.
Body systems for 15 points. The hardest substance produced by your body or any animal's body can be worn away if you grind your teeth at night. Robert Goddard.
Bone?
Not bone. If you grind your teeth at night, you can wear away this hardest substance that is produced by your body. It's enamel, the enamel on your teeth. Go again, red. 5-point advantage still.
Green things for 20.
Green things for 20 points is a visual question. Look at the monitor, please, students, in the studio here. This is the corpse plant. It stinks. It is the biggest flower in the world. It smells like rotten fish and sweat and waste material. It smells as bad as it does because it hopes what happens as a result.
A fly
James Harrison.
A fly goes into its trap.
Fly goes into its trap. Not quite. Nope. Robert Goddard, it smells, it stinks as bad as it does for one particular reason.
It doesn't get picked.
No, that's probably right. No one was going to pick that flower. But because it smells so bad, it wants to attract flies. And what do the flies do when they go inside? They pick up some of the pollen and they fly to the next one. It's to pollinate it. That's why it smells so bad. It's it's not perfume, but it is something that attracts certain bugs. All right, good try, no points, go red.
Zoop rate for 20.
Zoop rate for 20 points. Another visual question. Look back at the monitor if you would, please. This cute little guy is an echidna. He lives in Australia, and he is one of the very few mammals that is oviparous, meaning it reproduces how? James Harrison.
Live birth. Yes.
Live birth?
Live birth? No. Robert Goddard, this echidna lives in Australia. It is one of the few mammals that is oviparous, meaning that it reproduces how?
Laying eggs?
Yes, it's an egg layer, just like the duckbill platypus. Nice answer. Good. Go.
Let's get physical for 20.
Let's get physical for 20 points, teams. Let's see how your math skills are. Recently, 3 transformers caught on fire at the Stadium Armory Metro Station. Transformers that were producing 9 megawatts of power. 9 megawatts is how many watts? All right, Robert Goddard. Haven't answered, Harrison, in case I have to come to you.
9,000?
Not 9,000. Good try. 9 megawatts is how many watts?
900?
9 million. Mega is a prefix for a million. Try again, please, green.
Dateline for 20.
Dateline science for 20 points, teams. The government recently issued a recall for spinach because they think what S-initialed bacterium is on the spinach. Robert Goddard.
Salmonella.
Salmonella, absolutely right. Good. Green.
Science potpourri for 20.
Potpourri for 20 points. All right, score 135, 170. James Harrison, get this, you're back in the game. This is Science Potpourri for 20 points. Teams, this precious metal, which is the very best conductor of electricity, is also the name of the... Robert Goddard.
Copper.
Not copper. James Harrison, this precious metal, which is the best conductor of electricity, is also the name of the newest metro subway line.
Silver.
Iron?
Silver. The silver line was the right answer. Silver, a very good conductor of electricity. All right, let's go again, please, to green.
Body systems for 20.
Body systems for 20 points. Teams, if you put on sunblock to keep from getting cancer from ultraviolet rays, the flip side is it impedes your skin's ability to make what vitamin? What vitamin can you not make as well if you're wearing sunblock, Armand?
Vitamin C.
Say it again.
C.
Not C. No. What vitamin does your skin make?
D.
D. Yes, good. Green. All the tougher questions left still. Game can go either way. Pick it, Mike.
Let's get physical for 25.
Let's get physical for 25 points. Teams, if you helped your mother with the dishes last night and scrubbed the pots with a steel wool pad, today, if it got wet, it's probably rusted and corroded. What is the O initial name, Robert Goddard?
Oxidation.
Yes, oxidation is the correct name for rusting. Good, go.
Zoo parade for 25.
Zoo parade for 25 points. Teams, this undersea creature not only makes its own food, but also captures and eats food with its stinging tentacles. Robert Goddard.
Jellyfish.
Not a jellyfish, James Harrison. This creature that makes food and captures food is actually a half plant and half animal. We know it best as the place where Nemo and his clownfish hid out.
A sea anemone?
A sea anemone. That's it. Good. 25 points go, Armand.
Green things for 25.
Green things for 25. Big one in that category, teams. All trees lose their leaves every year, but only trees that are bare for part of the year are known as these kinds of trees. James Harrison.
I think so. I'd go with that again.
What you
Scarce
got?
trees?
Say it.
Scarce trees?
Scarce.
Scarce trees.
Not scarce trees. All trees lose their leaves every year, but only trees that are then bare for part of the year are known as these kinds of trees.
Carnivorous?
The other one, deciduous. Deciduous was the right answer. Try again, red. Armand?
Science potpourri for 25.
Potpourri for 25 points is a multiple choice question. If you want a really neat Christmas gift, you can get a mirror for someone's bathroom that doesn't steam up, doesn't show condensation while you're taking a shower. It can do that because does the mirror have a tiny heater in it, a tiny cooler, or a jet that sprays soapy water onto the mirror? Robert Goddard.
A heater?
A heater, yes, so that the temperature of the mirror is the same as the temperature in the room, so there is no condensation. 2 questions left. Go.
Dateline for 25.
Dateline science for 25 points. Paleontologists have recently found the fossil remains of a dinosaur that they think had to have been homeothermic, meaning warm-blooded, because they found the fossils in what 49th state? Robert Goddard.
Alaska?
Alaska, yes. Last question of the game. Body systems for 25 is as follows. Teams, if you bought yourself a new iPhone 6, or even if you have an iPhone 5, you have what is known as a display based on what layer of the eye at the back of your eye. Robert Goddard.
Retina?
Retina, the retinal display, absolutely right. And with that, we have come to the end of our Science Bowl game. We'll be back with a wrap-up in just a moment. Don't you go away.
Minds can achieve anything. We make sure they get to college. Federal student aid provides more than $150 billion in grants, loans, and work-study funds to make college possible for anyone with the mind to get there. Because if given the chance, minds will do great things. Federal Student Aid, proud sponsor of the American Mind. Learn more about money for college at studentaid.gov.
Welcome back to Science Bowl. I hope you enjoyed this game at home as much as we did here in the studio. We are proud of all of our players. They're just 5th graders. Look at these scores today. Our final tally is James Harrison 160, Robert Goddard Montessori 290. Congratulations, Green Team. Brianna and Michael and Upper Bouquet, congratulations. And look at the Shadow Team +1 back there. Wave Layla and Jordan and Sadie and Snowden, and over there is Miss Jellison, and you wanted to get in the game, and boy, we're happy you're here this year. Let's see some smiles over here. James Harrison, you did a great job. Ebenezer and Armand and Mambo, you really brought a lot of pride to your school. And Ishmael, give a nice big smile to everybody out there, too. He's our safety patrol back there. And Miss Coburn, thank you for being involved in this. You sent us a great team. We loved having you. We loved having you, too. We'll see you next time on another edition of Science Bowl. Bye-bye.